Hey, all your peeps out there. Thank you for coming back again and watch Within the Cauldron episode. Now, as you know, we're doing several episodes this summer about pagan events that you can go to. We're trying to split them up to all different states. And this is one of my favorites because I used to live in this state for what? This is Dragonfest 2025 and stationed in Colorado. So, to further ado, I'm going to have Rachel say who she is.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Stevenson. I am the Outreach and Events Coordinator. I help Dragonfest promote by going out into the community and meeting people where they are. This is the first year that we've created this role, but we're hoping to expand it for future. But this year, I got a chance to go to Fort Collins and Colorado Springs and meet people face to face and drum up some interest about Dragonfest, which has been really great to get to meet people face to face. We do a lot of advertising and a lot of outreach online, but this is the first year we've really gone out throughout various towns that we are interested in growing our support for. So this has been really exciting.
Awesome. And who is this handsome guy with you?
This is Aeneas. Sorry, my apologies.
That's okay.
Aeneas is, sorry, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I can. I was say I'm Aeneas. I am a board member for Dragonfest. I'm also the director of finance for Dragonfest. So I'm the one who helps make sure that we get all our agreements in place for everything we need to set it up and make sure all the vendors get paid and everything like that. Because running one of these things, it takes a lot of behind the scenes work.
It does. Yes, it does take a lot of work. I used to do Pagan Pride in Colorado Springs from 2015 to 2018 or 19. And then we changed it over to Mother Earth Gathering. Before that, I did pagan events back here in Iowa too. But right now, I'm not doing no more events. I did for 27 years, and that was enough for me. So podcasting is so much easier. Sure. I can tell you that for sure. Okay, so Dragonfest, I mean, when I first moved to Colorado, everybody's like, oh, you have to go to Dragonfest. I mean, they really hyped it up. I think every place I went, whether it was north, south, east, or west, it was like, you have to go to Dragonfest. And it's like, okay, I go. And it was, oh my God, it was remarkable. I just love it. But I want you guys to tell us about your event. How long has it been? Because I know it's been a lot of years.
Okay. Do you want me to jump in on this one, Rachel?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Dragonfest is Colorado's longest running and largest spiritual retreat. This year, we are actually celebrating our 40th anniversary. That's how long Dragonfest has been going. And it's been everything from, it started out a small bunch of witches in secret, going up to the mountains, doing a little get together, and then it grew by word of mouth, and it expanded a little more and expanded. And there was a time that we would have 1,000 to 1,200 people up there, and it was all over the place. And then we had to change locations. We moved to kind of a more intimate setting. We pulled it back a little bit. At that time, it was kind of just a big party with a little bit of spiritual witchiness sprinkled on it. And we've kind of gotten back more to the roots. It's more that spiritual focused retreat now. And we're in the 250. We're hoping to get up to about 300 this year with the 40th celebration and get some more people in. So that's where we are today. And that's what it is. Rachel, did you want to follow up on that with anything?
Yeah. So the land that we're on is in Bailey, Colorado. And and it is a private land owned by one of the members of our community. She's been unbelievably gracious to allow us the use of her land, and so we've been using it. I've been coming for 10 years, and it's been on the land at that location for as long as I've been attending. I started coming back in 2014. And it's really a really great space. It's absolutely stunning. There, in the last couple of years, she's like really built out her farm. And so people who attend can, it's kind of like a petting zoo. They can sort of see llamas and alpacas and goats that follow Shallon and our safety director, Kirk, because their calves look good. So it's just a really great festival. It's a really small knit community. This community has just such like deep ties and really tight connections that we do get together, for the week that we're up on the land. Throughout the year, we are together. We invite each other into various other pagan events that happen throughout Colorado. So we're just, we're looking to expand, like Shallon said, but we're hoping to like bring more people into this beautiful, wonderful community that that just really like supports each other both at the festival as well as throughout the rest of the year.
Yes. And, going to an event like this, I cannot tell you how much of an experience it is, because you learn so much. You meet new people, you see your old friends, and it's just, it's so energized, and you're with nature all weekend. And, that is probably the best part, because you're closer to the gods and it just feels so good. I mean, if anybody never goes to an event, I'm so sorry, because you're missing out a lot, believe me. Now, what type of presenters do you have this year, or who do you have this year?
So this year we're still working on it. My wife Van happens to be the events director, so she's very busy right now, getting all the people in, checking stuff out, helping design scheduling. But we're still in the process of getting our presenters for this year. I do know that we have one of our longtime presenters, Phil, has come back, and he's doing his hoop drum making workshop. So people who are interested in that's going to be there. We do have some workshops around the LGBTQ community. We have some on different traditions. So we have some of those, but it's still working on it. But in the past, we've had all those things. We have one individual who loves doing his body painting workshop and teaches you how to do body painting. We've had the hoop drum making. We've had a sacred massage workshop. We've had workshops on meditation. We had a coloring workshop where you could sit down and meditative coloring, and they worked through that, and they did some meditative coloring together. People have built books of shadows, kind of hand-bound books of shadows up there. We've also done very educational type thing, kind of that more traditional education. I presented one year, and I'm probably going to do it again coming up soon, maybe this year, on the astronomy of astrology. So we all know about the astrology, but what are the planets actually doing? Why do these things actually occur in space? And so we've done stuff like that. We've had crystal workshops. We've had crafting workshops. So there's a lot of those workshops that go on, and that's just what happens in the day. We can talk a little bit later about what goes on later in the evening.
Oh, so what goes on in the evening, is that like very sacred? You cannot say anything, or can you give
no, I didn't want to give away everything too soon. So yeah, once throughout the day we have those workshops. Then as you get on to evening, the first thing happens, every evening there's a ritual. Wednesday there's the opening ritual. Thursday there's our gender mysteries. So there's a men's mysteries, a women's mysteries, and a non-binary mysteries. that's inclusive. And it's really for anyone who identifies as that. We don't judge what your appearance is. If you show up and say, I'm X, come on in. And we talk about, we have ritual around what people of those genders deal with. Then on Friday night, we do a multiple drawing down, which is one thing that's kind of rare out there in the world. Many people, many witches know of drawing down and have experienced a drawing down. But this is a multiple drawing down. We will have a dozen, 15, 18 different people all drawing down simultaneously. And everyone is there, and walkers come from each of those people to the waiting supplicants to say, the X deity wants to talk to you. Come on up with me. And you come up and you interact with those deities. So we do that multiple drawing down on Friday nights. On Saturday night, we have our main ritual, which is usually put on by someone out in the community. We've had ADF Druids there. We had a pagan Sufi do one year. We've had Wiccans do them. This year, it's actually going to be hosted by some members of the staff in celebration of the 40th. It's going to be a 40th anniversary ritual. And then Saturday or Sunday morning, just before everything closes, we have our closing ritual. And then once the rituals are done, the fire circles start. So we have 3 main fire circles. We have our Heart of the Dragon circle, which is the family-friendly area. People will sit around. They'll sit by the fire. They'll have their kids there. I've seen people have brought marshmallows and made s'mores and things like that. We have Trance circle, which is mainly focused on storytelling or chanting or a little more relaxed atmosphere. And then we have Freedom Circle. In Freedom Circle, you get all the drummers out there and they're drumming, and you get dancers. Some nights it's a small circle, especially early on in the retreat, or if it's a little cold out. But some nights there's 3 or 4 rings of people all around the fire dancing to the drummers, and 24 drummers out there drumming for everyone. And so it's just a great time. The fire circles are one of the main reasons I go. That's where I find my spirituality through dance.
Yes.
Being up there, you have the drums, you have nature around you. Your phone doesn't even work because you're so far out there. You're not getting your cell phone. You don't have to worry about that. You just go out there. They have the drums, and you're out there. It's just you and the music and the people around you and nature and your movement, and it's fantastic.
Sounds great. I know drumming is that way. I would be at the drumming circle all the time, drumming and dancing. So it's about the only time you can do, besides if you do it on your own each month or so. But yes.
And it's different when you do it on your own. There's something about having 20 drummers and being out there with, a group of people, and you're all dancing together. When you dance on your own, it's pleasant, but there's just something about that energy that you can't get anywhere else.
Oh yeah, you're getting me chills right now, but just thinking about the past of going to the drumming and having it's so energized. The more people you have, the more energy and everything. And for me, I know some people would say, "Oh, I'm so drained because I dance and I drum." For me, no, I can go on for days. Hey, bring it on. I can do it. I just love it. How about clothing? Is clothing optional, or is it family friendly? Because some audience we would like to know, and with me, well, I used to. The gray hair probably gives me away. I have 4 children, so back in the day, I always took my 4 kids with my husband, and we just went places, And some places, you have a surprise, like, oh my God, this sky clad, and you try to hide your kids' eyes and everything, and then after a while, it's like, forget it, So nobody would be surprised. Okay, I guess that's what I'm saying. What is the dress code?
So the dress code, it actually varies by location. We try and be very respectful of different people's needs, whether that's a personal aversion to seeing certain things, or maybe someone has a conservative ex or something like that, and they don't want to have to deal with that. So we have our bear country, BARE, country, where it is clothing optional. And you see, occasionally you see people completely naked. That's where the body painting workshop occurs, for those that like that. And you'll see people topless and things like that, sunbathing, whatever. We also host certain rituals up there, such as the flower frenzy, which is a bathing ritual targeted at mainly women. So it's a bathing ritual, and that's done up there in a concealed area.
Yeah.
But then we also have the rest of the area that's not bear country, where at least beachwear is required. The one thing that we have decided as a community is that being topless, even in the clothing required area, is acceptable. And that aligns with some of the laws out there that say, hey, and not just laws, but also our morality. If a man can go topless, a woman can go topless. We're not going to discriminate. And so, but you at least have to, the waist has to be below the waist has to be covered when you're in those areas. And people are very respectful, even some of the people who spend a majority of the retreat skyclad, when they come down to the community center, Kids Fest, all those things are in the clothing required area. And when they come down to the community center, they're very good about, putting on a shirt, wrapping a sarong around themselves, doing things like that. People are very respectful. So we haven't had any problems with that. Rachel, do you have anything to follow up on?
Yeah. So I wanted to circle back to workshops. There are workshops for adults for sure, but Dragonfest is a multi-generational festival. And so there are workshops for kids. There are workshops for teens. Those workshops have dedicated adults who help create those safe spaces for kids and for teens to really be a part of our community. And so there are a variety of different workshops for kids and teens. I don't know the specifics for this next year, but something that we do with our teens is we invite them to participate in a Saturday night meal where we give them the responsibility of prepping the ingredients and making the soups for this event that we call Bob Key's Community Soup. And it's a big deal. When you hand a teenager, the responsibility for handling all of these ingredients and the soup and making sure that the food is cooked properly, that the meal is out on time, it's a big sign to both you as the adult who's managing all of these teens, and I've done this job, and Sheila has done this job. We've both done this job in the kitchen. But it's also a sign to the teen, like, hey, I'm being acknowledged as an adult. I'm making that transition from being a teen to being an adult member of our community. So it's a really beautiful rite of passage, in my opinion. So we do have this, these various events for kids and teens. And yeah, in addition to like all of the workshops for everybody, we are definitely a community of people who are affirming of all identities and personalities. You asked earlier about like dress code. And so we allow everybody to just wear whatever they feel comfortable in, whatever they feel best represents them. We have this great, oh man, I can't remember his name. We have this great community member who loves to wear hats. He is a big hat fan and he wears dresses. And he is just this great community member. And really like just really embraces his own fashion sense and his own desire to wear whatever he wants. And the hats that he wears are just always so colorful and bright and just like so eye-catching.
And one of the key things about him is in outside of the community, he's not comfortable doing that. So this is something that he does primarily at the retreat because he can be himself. He can be who he wants to be and present how he wants to present.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, I can understand that because I know when I did pagan events, everybody always comes up to the organizer and says, "Oh, thank you so much. I finally came out as myself. I can be myself." And and that right there is probably one of the best compliments you can get is somebody coming up to you and says, "Thank you. I can be myself." That is just music to your ears when somebody says that. And that is so cool about having the teens, cook, prepare the meals and everything. What now? I know it's July 30th to the August 3rd. So you're going to have a lot of people that they just camp or their cabins too, or kind of like they give an option there.
Yeah, so it is a camping only retreat. There's actually minimal infrastructure there. We do have porta potties and composting toilets that are up there. So sanitation is easy. That was my first year that I was going. I have some medical issues, and my first year that I was going, I was like, "What's the toilet situation like? This is worrying me." But it's easy, and it's actually maintained by the landowner. So it's not one of those things where you're like, "Oh, is the porta potty company going to come and clean this out? I hope it happens soon." We don't have that. They get cleaned twice a day, so everything is clean. It's comfortable there. But outside of that, that's the only infrastructure up there, really. We have a solar generator that runs a refrigerator for the kitchen. We have propane fire pits at each of those fire pits.
Oh, nice.
And propane to run the kitchen burners. But the kitchen is set up in a tent, and and it's only for breakfast. It provides breakfast and that Saturday night meal. But that's about it. Otherwise, it's what you bring camping. Bring your own water. Bring your own tent. Bring your own sleeping bag. Some people camp in their cars. Some people bring RVs. Some people, as Rachel can tell you, I glam. We have a very large outfitter tent that we bring. And a couple of years ago, we were camping together. I had that very large outfitting tent with my wife, and right next to us was Rachel in her little pup tent that was like 5 feet long. So you have all that different stuff. Some people really do try and minimize it, and some people like me take it get a little more comfortable. But yes, that's you do bring everything up with you. Bring your food, bring your camping equipment, or again, camp in your car, camp in an RV. I have some friends who don't like camping, and one time they were like, "Okay, we'll come up," and they rented an RV so that they could be nice and comfortable in their RV.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you there with the glamping. I have one of those big tents too. I used to, when my kids was smaller, we used to have a 3 cabin tent, so we had this big ass tent and everything. Everybody's like, "Why don't you just have your kids in a pup tent and stuff?" It's like, no, I want them with me so I know they're safe and everything. But, when we took our coven with us, sometimes we all went together as a coven sometimes, and we always shared our food, share our tents and everything. So, and I imagine that if for the audience out there, if you're thinking about, oh, I got to buy my food and stuff, and everything, it's worth it. Get some hot dogs, get some turkey burgers or something, and just make it, just invite people over, just make it a big potluck or something of yourself. That's what we always did too as well. It's always good. So we talked about the food, the location, and the workshops and presenters. The I guess you could say the accommodations like bathrooms and stuff.
Yep.
Okay. So how about like the ticket prices and the deadline? Because I know there would be a deadline, and you probably are cutting off probably somewhere in July, I imagine. So can you tell us a little bit more about when's the cutoff date to register, if there is any, and the ticket prices, so our audience will know, hey, how much I should bring?
Yep. So that's actually an interesting thing. We are actually just switching to a rolling registration. And that's mainly because, in alignment with being a 501c3 educational spiritual retreat, we do memberships. And so there's two primary levels of memberships. There's the associate membership, and you're entitled to come up Friday through Sunday of the retreat, or a full membership, where you're entitled to come up Wednesday, the 30th, through Sunday. We also have some higher levels. If we have Dragon's Guard members, if you want to contribute more to the community. But we do have those memberships. And because we're on that rolling, we have a cutoff on July 1 for the regular ticket price. Then there's a late fee of $50, mainly because if we have to start, oh, shoot, we got a lot more people and now we need more, tables and we need more food and stuff like that. It's there. And that for supporting memberships that come with a t-shirt, and Dragon's Guard memberships that come with a t-shirt, those also cut off July 1, so that we have time to order those.
Right.
But registration itself for a standard associate membership with the late fee is actually open all the way until I think it's either the Saturday or the Sunday before the retreat, so that they can print. And then we even do memberships at the gate with that same late fee. And then it'll open back up again for the next year, pretty much as soon as we get down off the land. So that people who had a great time there and want to register for next year, that's great. Or it also lets us do stuff like, hey, Rachel, I'd love to get you your Yule present this year. How would you like your Dragonfest membership? We can do things. So for an associate membership, the standard rate, an adult is $85. Young adults are $40. Elders over 60 are $75. And that gets you Friday through Sunday. So if a weekend's what you can do, that's when you can get off work. That's the perfect one for you. If you want to be there the whole time, that's our regular member. Our regular members are adults are $160. Young adults are $80. And elders over 60 are $135. And then again, we do have some increased ones, supporting members that get a thank you t-shirt because of their additional contributions. Dragon's Guard, which gets special recognition in a t-shirt because of what they're doing. But, all those memberships are available. And if you wait till after July 1st, it is an additional $50 because that's the, what it takes to deal with getting things at the last minute if we need to.
Oh, yeah. Been there. Oh, yeah.
Yes. And then, Rachel, do you want to talk about the hot breakfast?
Yeah. So I want to mention that the numbers that Shell and Jess gave are just the event itself. We have a separate cost for breakfast every morning. So every morning at the event, there is one breakfast that people can pay for as part of a meal plan. And so that's new this year. If you've attended in the past, that's new. So you pay for your registration and you can either decide to have your food and on your own, or you can have your breakfast on your own, or you can pay for a meal plan. And so that's really nice because then, there's somebody else who's a part of the community who is cooking your breakfast for you. So our hot breakfasts are done. It should be noted that all of our staff are also our community members, right? So they're all volunteers. We are a festival that is a believer in community, by community, for community. So all of our workshops are community led. There are folks that are in the community who are really excited and want to share their knowledge and their wisdom with the rest of the community. Likewise, we ask people to step up and say, hey, I'm going to take on the responsibility of cooking a breakfast every day for 5 days. And it's a lot of work, and it's really a work of love. And so Our hot breakfasts are just so well done, right? All of our kitchen staff in the 10 years that I have attended have really outdone themselves with pancakes and sausages and hash browns and eggs, and you're really getting, like a really hearty not a continental breakfast, but like a really hearty breakfast of, your meat, your carbs, your eggs. Just a really well-rounded, good, hearty breakfast.
And it's really impressive that they're doing that on burners hooked up to a propane tank. This isn't a commercial kitchen or a food truck or something. This is a burners in a tent, and they produce this breakfast. And we're kind of tooting our own horn. Rachel did run the kitchen for a couple of years. I ran it for a couple of years before we've gone to where we are. But it really is impressive what you can do with just camp equipment.
Oh yeah. I know we used to have somebody who just volunteered for breakfast at some of the weekends camping that we used to do. He just volunteered and everything, and then he's just like, oh wow, I got more eggs, more. It got bigger, so it was like free meal donation, and then we always hired a chef for our lunch. That people just paid the chef to whatever they want, tacos, chili, whatever. And it takes a lot. I give you guys kudos because I've been there. I know what it takes, all the energies,
absolutely,
months planning, and then once it's over with, you probably sleep for 2 days, and then you get up and you do it all over again for next year. So, yes, I do encourage the audience that, if you in the state of Colorado or around, or even if you're in the East Coast or West Coast and just want to go on vacation, the best vacation that you can give yourself and your family is to go to an event, because it teaches about, oh gosh, a lot. I mean, about the trees, flowers, nature, animals, even how to cook. It teaches them respect and everything too for everybody, acceptance for all walks of life and to diversity. So I encourage everybody to go to, if you can't go to Dragonfest, go to another event. But if you're around the area, Dragonfest is where it's happening on July 30th through August 3rd. Any last thoughts before we end the live?
I just wanted to add real quick. If folks are interested in those meal plans, breakfast level, the associate level is $20. The weekend only breakfast plan.
The weekend only breakfast plan's the 20.
Okay.
Yeah, the full one is 40.
The full one is 40. Thank you.
Yes.
And then lastly, just please register online at dragonfest.org. You can find all of the information there. You can also find a camping list. So if you are one of those people who needs a list to make sure you have all of the things you think you're going to need, we have lots of great resources and tips on the website for sure.
Yes, and also, if you want to, feel free to reach out. If you have any questions, you can reach out to our registrar. You can also reach out to Aeneas, Aeneas, at dragonfest.org. You'll get me. You have any questions, whether it's technical questions or whether it's just a, hey, what should I bring? What do I need to know? Feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer questions. I always love helping out. Whether you're a longtime practitioner, whether you're someone who's brand new to it and you're just kind of exploring what's going on, this is a unique opportunity to learn, share, and connect with others in a truly mystical setting.
Awesome. I do have a good friend, Wendy, that just told me she was going to go Dragonfest this year. So she may, if with permission, she may go around taking some pictures for us to paste together for the aftermath or join the Dragonfest if it's allowed. And
Yeah.
I would like for you guys to come back on after August and just give us an update how we went, and everything if you'd like to. Um, it's never too late or never too early to promote your event, believe me. But
Exactly.
just
And
oh, go ahead.
we'd be happy. I would love to come back on. And, we always say consent is critical in everything. But there are plenty of people that will consent to pictures. So I'm sure she'll be able to get some great ones.
Oh yeah, she asked permission. Yeah. So I just stay there for about a couple of minutes while we go off the air. But I just want to tell everybody to subscribe, like, and share our channel, and pass this YouTube video to anybody that you know that would like to go on vacation this year and go to Dragonfest. Okay, tell them when you get to Dragonfest, tell them you saw it on within the cauldron. Okay, so subscribe, everybody. Blessings.
Great Goddess, I am so thankful to have you guiding me, protecting me. I am so thankful to have you guiding me, protecting me. I am Great Goddess, I am so thankful to have